The clock is ticking on your immigration status, and what happens in the next 60 seconds could change everything about your case. If you're waiting on a green card, your visa is about to expire, or you're wondering whether you can travel outside the United States right now, this video contains critical information that could affect your entire future in America. The first month of 2026 has brought seismic shifts to U.S. immigration policy and processing times, and if you miss these updates, you could face delays, denials, or even deportation. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what actions you need to take right now to protect your immigration status. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, I'm breaking down the most important immigration updates that actually matter to your case. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because immigration policies are changing faster than ever, and you need to stay informed. Today, we're covering everything from green card processing changes to new visa restrictions, work authorization updates, and critical travel advisories that could prevent you from re-entering the United States. Let's dive straight into what's happening right now in January 2026. U.S. Immigration News January 202,610 Result Visa Bulletin for January 2026 State. Gov immigration changes going into effect for 2026 Newsnat now. COMS pauses immigration applications for an additional 20 countries. NPR. Org status state. Come January 2026 U.S. travel ban. What the new presidential proclamation means for international travelers and immigrants, BADMAS, and Associates BADMAS law. Come January 2026 Visa Bulletin shows advancement for employment-based immigrant visa categories, Ogletree. Come 6 key immigration changes for 2026. What employers and travelers must know, Constant G. Brooks, Smith, and Profit, ELP Constant G. COMS pauses immigration applications for an additional 20 countries OBOP. Org Deeds changes process for awarding H-1B work visas to better protect American workers USCIS. Go first, let's talk about the expanded travel ban that just took effect on January 1st. Presidential Proclamation 10,998 added 7 countries to the travel ban list: Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, Syria, Laos, and Sierra Leone. News Nation. This is not just a temporary measure. The administration has implemented full entry restrictions for nationals from these countries, citing national security concerns. But here's what makes this even more serious. The Department of Homeland Security is now pausing immigration applications from an additional 20 countries, and officials plan to re-review applications from these nations dating back to 2021 NPR. If you're from any of these affected countries, or if you have pending applications, you need to understand that your case might be stuck in limbo for months or even years while these reviews take place. The implications go far beyond just these specific countries. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has announced they're conducting enhanced vetting procedures across all benefit categories. What this means in practical terms is that every single immigration application is now subject to more scrutiny, longer processing times, and increased chances of requests for additional evidence. The new USCIS vetting center has been established specifically to centralize enhanced screening, and they're looking for anything from criminal history to fraud indicators to potential security threats. Now let's move to employment authorization documents, because this affects hundreds of thousands of workers currently in the United States. USCIS has reduced the maximum validity period for certain employment authorization documents to 18 months Constant G. Previously, many EAD holders could get work permits valid for 2 or 3 years. This change means you'll need to renew more frequently, which creates multiple problems. First, you're paying filing fees more often. Second, there's a higher risk of gaps in your work authorization if you don't file early enough. Third, your employer will need to re-verify your I-9 form more frequently, which adds administrative burden and sometimes raises uncomfortable questions about your immigration status. The green card situation has some positive movement but also significant complications. The January 2026 Visa Bulletin shows advancement in employment-based categories. EB1 applicants from India moved forward 11 months to February 2023, while China advanced 8 days to the same date Ogletree. For EB2 categories, most countries are seeing slight advancement. However, The dates for filing chart is what really matters if you want to submit your adjustment of status application now, and USCIS has confirmed they'll continue accepting applications based on those filing dates. But here's the critical detail everyone needs to understand about religious worker visas. The SR category for religious workers expires on January 29, 2026, and no SR visas can be issued after midnight on that date. U.S. Department of State. If you're a religious worker with an approved petition, you must enter the United States before that deadline or your visa becomes invalid. This is an absolute hard deadline with no extensions currently authorized by Congress. The Diversity Visa Lottery program has been paused entirely. This program normally provides up to 55,000 visas annually to applicants from countries with low immigration rates to the United States. The administration halted the program in December, and there's no clear timeline for when or if it will resume. If you applied for the Diversity Visa Lottery, your application is now in suspended status. For H-1B visa holders and applicants, the changes are dramatic and expensive. The random lottery selection process has been replaced with a weighted system that prioritizes higher-skilled and higher-paid workers, and employers must now pay an additional $100,000 per visa USCIS. This new rule becomes effective February 27th and will apply to the fiscal year 2027 CAP registration season. The administration argues this protects American workers from wage suppression, but for foreign workers and their employers, this represents a massive increase in costs and uncertainty. Social media screening has been expanded significantly. The electronic system for travel authorization now requires applicants to provide 5 years of social media history, and Customs and Border Protection can collect facial recognition data from all non-citizens entering and exiting the country, including green card holders. Fox News. You need to ensure your social media accounts are set to public during the visa adjudication process, and anything you've posted in the past 5 years could potentially impact your application. This includes Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and any other platforms you use. The citizenship test has become significantly harder. The new naturalization exam doubles the number of oral questions from 10 to 20, and you now need 12 correct answers to pass instead of 6 out of 10. The test has removed geography questions but now requires applicants to name all 3 branches of government. If you're preparing for your citizenship interview, you need to study with the new test format because the old materials are no longer sufficient. For international travel, the risks have never been higher for those with pending applications or temporary status. Even if you have valid documentation, expect increased scrutiny at ports of entry, longer processing times at consular posts, and greater variability in how different officers interpret the new policies. The safest advice right now is to postpone any non-essential international travel if you have a pending green card application, asylum case, or any change of status application. Too many people are getting stuck outside the United States because policies change while they're abroad, or because a consular officer decides to apply extra scrutiny to their case. Marriage to a U.S. citizen is no longer an automatic path to a green card. While spouse-based applications are still being processed, they're subject to the same enhanced vetting procedures as every other category. USCIS is looking more carefully at the validity of marriages, requesting more evidence of bona fide relationships, and conducting more in-person interviews. If you're planning to apply for a green card through marriage, document everything about your relationship from the very beginning. The Trump Gold Card program has been announced as a new pathway to permanent residency. This program requires a $1 million investment and promises expedited processing under EB-1 or EB-2 status. The administration claims this could generate over $100 billion for the United States. While this creates a new option for wealthy investors, it does nothing to help the vast majority of immigrants who cannot afford this kind of investment. Processing times across all categories are getting longer, not shorter. The combination of enhanced vetting, reduced staffing at some offices, and the sheer volume of applications means you should expect significant delays. Premium processing is still available for some categories, but even that doesn't guarantee the speed it once did. Plan for everything to take at least 50% longer than the official processing times suggest. So what should you do right now to protect yourself? First, if you have any application pending with USCIS, check your case status regularly online. Set up automatic notifications so you know immediately if they request additional evidence. Respond to any requests within the deadline because extensions are becoming harder to get. Second, if you're planning to file any immigration application, do it as soon as possible because policies are changing rapidly and what's available today might not be available tomorrow. Third, keep copies of everything. Every document, every receipt, every piece of correspondence with USCIS should be backed up digitally and stored securely. Fourth, if you're outside the United States with valid status to return, come back now rather than waiting. The travel restrictions are expanding, not contracting. Fifth, consult with an immigration attorney before making any major decisions. The stakes are too high and the rules too complex to navigate this alone. Sixth, maintain your current legal status at all costs. If your work authorization is expiring, file for renewal at least 6 months in advance. If your visa is expiring, don't let it lapse. Once you fall out of status, getting back into status becomes exponentially harder. This is an incredibly challenging time for anyone navigating the U.S. immigration system. The policies are changing faster than most people can keep up with, and the consequences of making mistakes have never been more severe. But knowledge is power, and staying informed about these changes gives you the best chance of protecting your immigration status and achieving your goals in the United States. If this information helped you understand what's happening with U.S. immigration right now, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. We're tracking every single development in immigration policy and breaking it down in ways that actually make sense for your situation. Drop a comment below and let me know which aspect of these changes affects you most. Whether it's the travel bans, the work authorization changes, the green card updates, or something else entirely. Share this video with anyone you know who's dealing with immigration issues because they need to know this information right now. And remember, while these policies might seem overwhelming, millions of people successfully navigate the U.S. immigration system every year, and with the right information and preparation, you can too. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video with more critical immigration updates you need to know.